Welcome back to Jenna's Kitchen. I've always heard that French macarons are one of the hardest things to make, but I have found once you practice with them and you get the recipe down, they are really simple to make. So I'm gonna show y'all my macaron recipe that will make some of the greatest macarons you've ever had. Let's get started. All right, so how we start these macarons is we sift together the 2 cups of powdered sugar. We sift it, that way we don't have any clumps in our macarons at all. Because if you have a clumpy macaron, that just doesn't taste very well. So just sift it into your bowl. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow in the middle of fall. So I'm just using a colander as a sifter because I think it's easier, but you can use a hand crank sifter. I like the colander because it helps get these little lumps, and you find them, and you put them back in the bowl. All right, now we have 1 cup of almond flour going in, and just sift this. And now we have a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. We are making pumpkin pie spice macarons today in the theme of fall. Now that we have all of these sifted, we are going to whisk them together to make sure that they all get combined. All right, I got my little whisk, and now we're just gonna whisk this together. Some people say that they think that the flavor comes more of the filling than of the actual macaron cookie, but I have come to find that depending on how much flavoring you put in the cookie, that is how flavorful it will be. That's why I put a teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice, and we have a little something going into our meringue. All right, this is all This is all mixed up. Now we're going to move on to our meringue. Okay, so in our house we have this running joke that Mom and I get bowls that are way too small for what we're doing. That's why I got this large bowl for my meringue, because it has been known to go from these little 3 egg whites to like triple the size. It's gonna be huge. So we're just gonna put the egg whites in here. So to my 3 egg whites, I added 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar to make a more stable meringue, and my egg whites were also at room temperature, and that helps with the macaron so much, you have no idea. And I added a pinch of salt. So now I have a mixer, and we're just gonna beat them until we have soft peaks, or until it's kind of foamy. All right, as you can see, it's pretty foamy right now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 1/4 a cup of sugar and add it in until we get soft peaks. So I have 1/4 of a cup of sugar, and we're gonna add this in kind of slowly. That way it incorporates into our mixture, but we don't add it all the way because then it deflates the meringue, and then we have flat macarons, and nobody wants those. So we're just gonna add it in slowly as we whip to soft peaks. This is probably the hardest part of the macaron, is getting this to soft peaks and making sure that we don't over whip it. But if you want to, you can put it in a KitchenAid mixer, but I kind of like this, it's kind of fun. All right, we are at soft peaks, and you can tell because once you lift your mixer up and flip it over, you kind of get like this DQ swirl kind of thing. Just gonna beat the rest of my meringue off of it, and we're gonna add our flavoring. Okay guys, so we just got this pumpkin spice emulsion today at Michael's, and so we're going to add some of it to our macarons, and it's gonna make them extra special. But at this point, you could add whatever flavorings you want. You could add cherry, you could add grape, you could add watermelon, you could add whatever flavors you want. And if you want your macaron to be a solid color, now is the time to add said color. But I'm gonna show you a special technique towards the end when we're gonna put them in the oven. I'm gonna show you a special technique that I love to do, and it makes your macarons look really pretty. Oh, this smells so good. This smells really, really good. So we're gonna add about a teaspoon and put that in our meringue. Put the top back on and beat it until we have stiff peaks. All right, y'all, we have stiff peaks. You can tell because like once I pull it up and flip it over, it stays in its shape no matter where I turn it. So that is a good way to tell that you have stiff peaks. You do not want to overmix from here because there is really no good way to come back from that. I'm sorry. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take our sifted ingredients and add them into our meringue. Isn't it pretty cool how just like 3 egg whites and a few more ingredients made this meringue? It's pretty cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add about 1/3 of our dry ingredients into our meringue. And now we're going to fold it up with a spatula. Just be very gentle because you don't want to deflate your meringue, because then your macarons will get flat And nobody wants a flat macaron, so just be very, very gentle. Scrape down the sides, and I like to do it in thirds. That way you can make sure everything is incorporated before your next edition. Okay guys, so like right now our macaron batter is really, really thick. So now what we're going to do is kind of called the macaronage. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take some batter and like smash it against the bowl, and that releases the air pockets, making your batter much thinner. All right, you kind of want your batter to ribbon down from your spatula. So we're almost there, getting close. There we go, now it's starting to do better. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to color our macarons. So we have two food colorings. We have sunset orange and canary yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few drops of each and drop them in different places, and then we're going to take a butter knife and swirl them into the macaron batter and start swirling. And like I said earlier, if you want it to be one solid color, you can add it while you're adding your other colorings in soft peaks. Now that we have this all swirled, it's very pretty. Now we're going to put it in a piping bag and pipe it onto our macaron mat. Okay, so I have my batter. I have the piping bag. Now all we have to do is put the two together. So I'm just going to take my macaron batter, lift it up, kind of rest it on here, and scoop my batter into the piping bag. And if you need to get someone to help you, that is totally okay. All right, so on my cookie sheet, I have my macaron mat. My macaron mat helps me guide how big I want my cookie to be, because a couple years ago, I tried macarons for the first time and they were actually pumpkin spice. And what I did was I did not measure how big they needed to be, and they spread out all over the cookie sheet. It was basically like a cookie of macaron. It tasted good. So what you do is I have a 12 tip on my piping bag and apply pressure to it and go along a circle, in a circle, boom, like that. And do that to all of your little holes. And you want to keep it fairly close to the mat, because if you like put it way up here, it's going to drop and it's going to have air pockets in your macaron, and that's going to lead to a hollow macaron, which nobody wants. Tell me your favorite flavor of macarons in the comments down below. I'd love to know. Oh, do you say macaron like macaron or macaroon? Because there's two different ways to say it. If you say macaron, then you're saying it right. Because if you say macaroon, that is like a coconut cookie, which are also very good. All right, so now that we have all of our macarons piped, we're gonna tap them on the counter to get any excess air bubbles out. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let them sit out for 30 minutes, because then they're gonna form a skin, and that is gonna help them form a foot during baking. So I'm gonna set my timer for 30 minutes, and then we will put them in the oven. Set a timer for 30 minutes.
Your timer is set for 30 minutes.
This is the hardest part of making macarons, is waiting for them to dry. But once they're dry, the reward is amazing. So we're just gonna have to wait. All right, our macarons are done drying. Now we're gonna pop them in a 300-degree oven for 15 minutes. All right, so our macaroons have come out of the oven. They have completely cooled, and I also made some buttercream to pipe in the middle of them. What I did was I just took a 1/4 cup of butter, a 1/4 cup of shortening, and I creamed them together. Then I added 2 cups of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of milk, and some cream cheese emulsion. You know that emulsion that we used in the macaron? Well, we also used some cream cheese in the frosting, and now we're going to make some pumpkin cream cheese macarons. So let's do this. I have a piping bag fitted with a 14 tip. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a macaron, and I'm going to take my filling, go around, get another cookie, fit the two together, and voila, you have a pumpkin cream cheese macaron that will taste amazing. So now I'm just gonna fill the rest of these, and I'll meet you back Here are the pumpkin cream cheese macarons we made today. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. And these look really, really good. I mean, pumpkin and cream cheese are two of my favorite flavors, and you put them together in a macaron. It is so good. These are great for a fall party. Your friends will be very impressed that you learned how to make such a high skill level cookie. These are really hard to nail, but once you get them nailed, you are set for life. These are amazing. If you make these macarons or any other kinds, if you post them on social media, be sure to tag Jenna's Kitchen 16 because I would love to see your baking creations. If you liked this video, please like it and comment down below and subscribe to Jenna's Kitchen. Plus, don't forget to share this with your macaron loving friends. All right, see you guys next time.